Back for the men's 10,000 meter final. Remember that we had an Ethiopian sweep of the medals in the women's 10K on Saturday. With 4 runners in the field, look for that East African nation to attempt the same thing here.
But a terrific Ethiopian quartet here. Bekele wearing 2.62, Sahine wearing 2.74, the tallest of the field, 2.66, Gebrselassie, and then also 2.70 Dinkesa. They can have 4 runners because you can have 3 per nation if they've all met the A qualifying standard, and the defending champion is there as of right, and that of course in this instance is Kenenisa Bekele. As already, Abipi Dinkesa is the first Ethiopian up there alongside Nicholas Kemboy.
Just looking at the leader there, that's Amin of Morocco, who rushed to the front but didn't really do much at all. He just wanted to get clear, I think, of the mass of humanity, as it were, that was in front of him at one stage.
And also coming right through into the lead now, Terozaki Omori of Japan. Relatively slow first lap, 69.90. So the mass ranks of the Ethiopians and the Kenyans obviously not interested in going all out from the gun. There's certainly a change of pace later on, though. But Omori's decided to make it quick.
Well, Omori's stretching himself out there, and that's probably not a bad thing. A bit of nervous tension, get it out of the legs and make the others just try and catch up. Remember, in Paris, though, Bekele ran almost a minute differential between the first and the second 5,000. He went through the first 5,000 in 13.52, took it pretty easy, and that's probably what he was trying to do here. And then he blitzed it over the last 5,000 by running 12.57.24, and that differential virtually destroyed everybody. And I think that may have tried to be the tactic that he was implementing by taking it fairly casually in the middle of the pack.
As the 10,000 continues, let's go down to Carol Lewis with some thoughts about great women in sports. Dan.
Viren looking on in the 10,000 metres, and while we were watching that hammer, there was some significant action with Kenenisa Bekele, now back in 3rd place, but he took the lead for the first time and really stretched away for just a lap before this one. He was in the lead, but it's now 3 Ethiopians at the head of affairs. Leading is 2.74 Sahine from 2.70 Dinkesa, then Bekele, and then there's just what now, 9 men in that leading pack.
Well, the great Lassie Viren nodding as he realises that this is hotting up now. Really was a bit of a push on there. Sahine looking up at the scoreboard to see where everybody else is behind, and there's still that group of about 9 or 10. They're working hard, but they're only dropping off one by one, and it's taken a lot of work to do it. Just behind him, Dinkesa was also looking over his shoulder there.
Just a lap ago, we passed the 7 kilometre point in 19:11.55, and it was a 2:39 kilometre. We've still got this progression.
Kamathi looks good, though, the young Kenyan. There he is, 5.66 with the red vest. He's followed everything that's moved at the front there. Just to the right of those athletes, Gourmet of Morocco. We haven't mentioned him too much, but he's still hanging in there in the red vest. Taking an inside route now as they start mixing it up again. The Ethiopians at the front, they slowed.
But it's Bekele.
Bekele decided that this was it. Come on, boys. He's just looked back at them. And
such a beautiful, smooth runner, isn't it? And you can see the tempo. The others really having to struggle a little bit to keep going at the tempo that Bekele is now. He's looking around. He's not going to lead for too long, but he's just making sure keeps this pace on it. Sahine is number 2.74, just behind him. Then it's Dinkesa, 2.70, and Gebrselassie, the other Ethiopian, isn't in fact in that leading group. As just behind them we have number 11, Mathathi of Kenya, 7.66 still up there as well. That's Kemboy of Qatar in the white, and also Tedesi on the outside.
Well, Tedesi was struggling a little bit, and he came wide around a lot of the athletes to try and get up there, and that took a lot out of him, really, because he was about 10 metres adrift at one stage, but now he's caught himself back up into about 7th place in the blue vest.
A 61.5 second lap as they've just reached 8 kilometres.
Despite the wet conditions on the track, the women's 100-metre semi-final.
Sahine, Bekele, and Dinkesa are the first four. On the outside, with the blue vest there is Tedesi of Ethiopia.
They're waiting, and they're waiting, but it's coming preciously close now, with just over 650 metres to go. Still Kamathi leads, but the Kenyans trying his best to take the sting out of the Ethiopians, but has he got it? Bekele looks over his shoulder there. He sees Tedesi menacingly in the blue vest just behind him. We're going to see one hell of a last lap because they're all there. Tedesi is still on the shoulder of Bekele. Kamathi looks over his shoulder as if to say, come on, I'm still in front, let's go. The bell is going to be like a gun to these athletes. Bekele comes through on the outside.
So they take the bell in 26:14:09. 9 men in this gripping 10,000 metres. Abibi Dinkesa tracked by Abibi Bekele, and the third Ethiopian Seleshi Sahin. Just behind is the first of the Kenyans, Moses Mossop, and now hitting the front it's Kenenisa Bekele, but there's 3 other men at least going with him, coming up to just 200 metres to go in this race. Bekele in the lead.
Bekele in the lead, but it's going to be close. Mossop the only challenger from the non-Ethiopians there, but look at the way that Bekele is stretching out. This is a 200-metre race now. Bekele is pouring it on. Just behind him, though, coming hard, Sahin. Sahin, I don't think, has got it in his legs. Mossop is trying hard. These 3 coming through the line. It's going to be the maestro in the end. Bekele that takes it. Sahin gets second place with Mossop third.
They really went away in the closing stages of that race and got well clear of the rest of the contenders. No question about that. Boniface Kiprop of Uganda coming in 4th place. But a terrific last 200 metres, 26.12 I clocked Kenenisa Bekele. And, well, 27:08:34 is almost routine for him. He didn't stamp his presence on this race as he has done some others, but he had enough to make sure he won it.
Well, that was a great run. I think that was a masterful run, really. And also, you've got to give credit to his teammates, I think, Peter, because they did most of the hard work. They really did. Other athletes coming in his wake. But what a wonderful performance from the Ethiopians yet again. That's 5 out of 6 medals at these World Championships going back to Ethiopia at the 10,000 metres.
Kenenisa Bekele, once again a gold medalist in World Championships. And there's the full result of the 10,000 metres. The gold medal going to Kenenisa Bekele, 27 minutes 8.33. The silver to Seleshi Sahin, also of Ethiopia. The bronze to Moses Mossop of Kenya. And all East Africans down to the first 7 before Gumri of Morocco.
The 10